One of the things that's toxic to your relationship is this criticism. It's easy to get into that habit of being critical of your
Hmm.
partner. And I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because they're not perfect
I
and they
beg your
should
pardon.
be. We think that, oh, it's my job to tell you how you should be and how you should act and how you should, not have spinach in your teeth and all of these types of things. That's really my job, right?
Hmm.
But it's not. It's better to be a teammate, be encouraging, give appreciations when they do something great and wonderful. And rather than get into this habit of picking at them for who they are.
Hmm. You know, when you are critical, we find that we can be critical. We've been together 43 years now, and we're still in love, but we have moments where we're human and we're critical. And when that happens in the space between us, it dumps a whole bunch of toxicity in there. And then we feel anxiety and we disconnect right in that moment. So I just want to really encourage you to think about that criticism always creates disconnect. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what, your voice tone or whatever it is. You're just going to create that disconnect with it too, because nobody likes being criticized with it. Why do we do that? One of the things is we enjoy being right. We think our perspective and our experiences and our way of looking at life and our way of whatever subject you want to talk about, we get into this mindset that I'm right and you're wrong. Problem is that creates this where we're no longer teammates, we're no longer eye to eye and heart to heart. I'm the superior power than you, and that's toxic. You don't want a parent child relationship in your marriage. You want it to be co-partners as part of that.
Yeah, that's really an important distinction to make, that
Mm-hmm.
really can easily happen. Like, then you talk down to your partner, then you think that they should perform or do things your way.
Mm-hmm.
And that just doesn't work. That's not a marriage. That's a transactional relationship, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't what you want. You want
Mm-hmm.
connection, you want love, you want to feel full aliveness so you can show up as yourself, being who you are. And that kind of cuts it down. And
Yeah.
it goes both ways
Mm-hmm.
usually, because and sometimes this criticism is really unconscious. Even if you don't think you're being critical, if internally you're in fear or if you're in judgment or all of these type of things, then it's going to come out as shaming, judgment, criticism
Mm-hmm.
towards your partner, and you're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're so in the habit of doing that in all our different settings. We almost expect that, but then we bring that home with us and we bring that into our relationship as well. And when you're in that transactional kind of relationship, what you're going to find is you have to go into perform mode with that. And that's not going to last very long, especially if you've had the unfortunate growing up like I did of always having to perform, to be loved, to seek acceptance, etc. with it too. That's not going to work in a marriage very long. And you're going to push back at that at some point, and there's going to be even bigger conflict. So removing that criticism, that pointing of the finger, is such a big deal with this. So what can you do different?
Well, one of the things is to be curious.
Mm.
Be curious rather than go to judgment. And it's with the curiosity, then you can think, okay, what is going on here? And often take a pause between your response. Something happens,
Mm.
and then instead of quickly responding,
Mm-hmm.
slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, tell me
Mm-hmm.
more about that. Why do you think that is happening that way? And what is going on? And then really, really take the time to listen to their point of view and accept your partner's point of view rather than be thinking, when are you going to shut up so that I can talk and I can just tell you the right answer?
Are we done yet?
Yeah. And so that's kind of an important one. What else?
Well, another one is approaching it from the intention of being a learner. In the whole process of a growing relationship, you want to be in a place where You're learning about your partner. We've been together all these years. We've been married 43, been together 45, and I still learn things about her that I didn't know. Uh, and a lot of people, especially if you've been in a relationship long, you think you know everything about your partner. Newsflash, you do not. I'll tell you that right now.
Because we're constantly changing. We're constantly
Exactly.
changing and growing and
Hmm.
that type of thing. And you both are. And that's why you have to like understand where you're coming from.
So what you may have thought about a certain topic, 5 years ago, you may have a totally different outlook with it too, and you need to learn what that is. So approaching each other from a place of a learner is really helpful in that, because then you're going to grow in the relationship. You're going to enjoy. It's one of the things I love about a relationship now versus when we first were together. I enjoy hanging out with her. I enjoy talking. I enjoy just her presence now, even though it's very different than it was 40 something years ago, because we're both growing together. And that's a real plus.
So another thing that helps is to use the I language when
Mm.
you communicate, because there are times where there's a problem and you have to talk about the problem. You can't just avoid it.
Hmm.
But rather than be critical about the other person, own it, own your stuff.
Hmm.
This is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I feel, rather than to put it on them. It's like, you're such a jerk because you did this. It's like, this is what
Uh,
I need. So I might say, yeah, remember yesterday we had all that company coming
mhm.
and I felt like I was doing everything myself and I was not getting any help. I really need you to step up and, well, maybe not step up. That's kind of critical. But I really
See how
need
easy
you.
it is?
Yeah. So I really need help.
Mm.
What ideas do we have? Do you want to help me more? Should I hire help? Um, what needs to happen so that
Mhm.
it's not overwhelming to me? So by coming at it from my point of view and communicating it that way in a non-judgmental way, looks at what we do want. What do
Mhm.
I want? I'm wanting to have company over and not feel overwhelmed and just enjoy it.
Mhm.
And so, how do we together solve that problem
Right.
rather than placing that whole thing on the other person and
Mhm.
saying, you're just a jerk because
Yeah.
I did this?
Another part of that, while we're talking about